welcome back to another edition of Starseeds Down Under. Yes, I've changed it and moved it back and concentrating and focusing specifically on the spiritual, the galactic, and our ancient history, not going with the Patriots Down Under thing tab anymore. Welcome for this very, very special presentation today on this fine day, because I have been given specific permission from the lovely Dani Henderson to present to all of you, my beautiful audience, the final speech, as it says in our title today, Alex Collier's final speech at the G.S.I.C conference in Denver, Colorado, 2024. G.S.I.C being the greatest conference on the planet, Global Spiritual Informers Connection Conference. And I would also like to pay homage and respect and thanks and gratitude, first of all, before we move any more forward with the videos and presentation today, to some lovely individuals that have such great, beautiful, loving, big souls that are at the forefront and spearhead of our disclosure community, bringing the rain, as far as I'm concerned, bringing the rain, promises that are made and kept. And that would be, first of all, to this beautiful soul, Miss Dani Henderson, that I would like to pay homage and respect, thanks, love, and gratitude to, for the time, the effort, support, love, inner standing, and just general friendship, conversation, and really being a mentor and guide to me, as from one human to another, giving each other respect and dignity that we all deserve. This beautiful soul has had so much and given so much to all of us over the last few years, especially. I think we can all agree, between herself and all that she does and risks and speaks about online, whether it be what we're doing today or from this to taboo subjects that don't get talked about. Dani brings the rain. She talks about the untalkable, okay, that people try to avoid. You know, the sort of subjects and topic matter. Yesterday, I was privy to watching one of the most amazing shows with her guest, Mariska, and about stay-at-home dads and mums and birthing. And it was one of the most uplifting, connecting videos that I've been a part of, in the sense of the live chat, where I was able to converse back and forth with Dani and Mariska and everyone in the live chat, mentioning how much this was a gift to everyone. So I say to anyone that questions, any of Dani's abilities or knowledge or wisdom or the subject matter and topics that we talk about on this channel, please, I implore you, come over to the channel and check her out. I'll be leaving the link in the description for everyone below to go over and check Dani's channel out, who hasn't actually been informed about her or any of the work that she does. I know that there are a few of you that are joining us for the first time that are starting to find this galactic information. So what better way and source and person to connect with than beautiful Dani Henderson, that is at the forefront of disclosure right now with her beautiful conference, the greatest conference on the planet, where this is the only one place on the planet where this beautiful woman, our beautiful emissary, sister, and warrior to this planet, also playing mother to its people on this planet to somewhat degree. I believe that Elena Danaan is one of the most beautiful souls that has graced us with her presence, her spirit, her resonance, her frequency, her love, and her utmost dedication to the planet, its people, and exposing the truth and disclosure of our ancient past and how it connects us to our future. And I just want everyone to quickly take into note right here, just for a moment, the statement that Elena has made here, and take it into your hearts. Shatter illusions, not dreams. Walk through each day with the courage to face adversity with the serenity of a sage and the skills of a warrior. Do not seek popularity by telling lies, but choose humility by following the way of the truth. And I can't agree with that more, because I have a video that I'm going to be doing myself soon in relation to called the 3 H's of life. Through humility comes being humbled, and through being humbled brings you your honor. I believe highly in the work that these 2 particular beautiful souls, Elena and Dani, are doing on this planet right now in bringing about the truth and sharing with all of us all of that knowledge, wisdom, love, information, and bringing so many people from so many vast different ranges of life together and showing each other that we are truly one through how much we implicitly share with each other. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? I can't ask you enough to please make sure that when I put the link in the description below, please go check out Elena's and Dani's channels that I'll be leaving links in the description for, and their websites, so that you can subscribe to their channels and make sure you hit their notification bells as well, because this does all in part and parcel help promote them and actually get them out past the algorithms and to a wider, vaster audience, and bringing new people that are like-minded so that we can grow as a family, because really at the end of the day, we are only going to get to this future together. I can't express that enough. So please go over and check them out, and please subscribe and give their videos a like and share as well, because that also helps with the algorithms as well, because the shadow banning right now is shocking. And there has been slight changes in the algorithms, but still nonetheless it is quite shocking to what the extent is that they're going to try and stop this information from getting out. Now, I'd like to also bring to everyone's attention today this beautiful soul, this Jedi White Knight of disclosure that has been a part of this for over 30 years, bringing the rain also to the public, bringing us truth, knowledge, wisdom, information, intel, data, proof of our connections to the stars, Mr. Alex Collier, Andromedan contactee. Today, I've been, as I said earlier, been given implicit permission by Miss Dani Henderson to show all of you, my beautiful audience, Mr. Alex Collier's final speech at the conference in Denver, Colorado this year, Global Spiritual Informers Connection, in front of an audience of 1,000 members. Those same 1,000 members also being connected and witnessed to one of the greatest moments in history being made within our disclosure community. Those 1,000 people will witness to a flyover via the Alliance, the Earth Alliance that is, in a TR-3B, and a flyover via the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Thanks to this lovely lady here, because Elena was asked by Dani previously leading up to the actual conference, is there any possible chance of you asking Thorhan Aredian, your contact, Elena, of doing a possible flyover for the conference? And her response was, no problem. So in saying that, she's obviously gone to Thorhan and asked for the flyover. And in doing so, I'd say Thorhan has also thought about upping the ante a little bit and giving the crowd a little bit more than what was expected, or hoped for, I should say. I should say expected, because the promise was made that it would be given, that there would be a flyover. And I'd say that Thorhan has probably reached out to the Earth Alliance and asked for them to join them in formation in flight, and go ahead of them in flight over the actual crowd of 1,000 witnesses, where they all saw for themselves with their own eyes I'm calling out anyone here that calls anyone a liar about this right now, or say that they're birds, or anyone that's been starting bullshit online right now. We know who they are, okay? We're calling them out to be their bullshit right now. This was a historical moment that was in the making. Right there, right then, in front of 1,000 witnesses. You mess with that, I dare you. Try to mess with any one of those 1,000 witnesses that saw with their own eyes and their own heart, with their own frequency, their soul, and knowing full well what they witnessed was true, 100%. I ask and dare anyone to mess with that at all, anywhere else. I bet you can't. You will not be able to convince them otherwise that was birds or something else. I'm sorry. It does not hold no water. Okay? Your statements are false and discrediting and absolutely insulting in every way. And I hope that the metaphoric statement, the snake shall eat its tail, shall come to fruition. Good luck with those people that are trying to call this out as being false, fake, or bullshit. I dare you to mess with it. Because these three beautiful souls that have risked so much and dare to do what they do on a daily level are here on mission. Okay? As am I, and as is everyone that is part of this community, adding to the overall whole, contributing to the actual picture of disclosure through our own experiences, through our own journeys, helping to the co-collective of information. We are all one. We are all together in this. And we are moving forward to our future in a positive timeline. And there is no doubt about that. So in saying that, everyone, I'm going to stop waffling right now, and I'm going to move forward now and actually bring the presentation of the White Knight of Disclosure, Mr. Alex Collier himself, for all of you to enjoy his final speech at the G.S.I.C conference, Denver, Colorado, 2024. Enjoy, everyone.
It gives me the greatest honor, literally, to welcome the Knight of Terror, the Andromedan, Alex Collier. I got him out of retirement. You're welcome.
Those are all boos, by the way.
Bless you, sir. Thank you for your service to humanity.
Thank
to
you.
disclosure,
Thank you very much.
to all of us.
I'm
Really gotta
rusty.
play.
I'm very rusty. Thank you. It's been an honor. It's always an honor and a privilege. And thank you, all of you, from wherever you've come to support and be the sponsors of Exopolitics and this movement. It's so important. And it means everything. You know, for decades, we were kooks, nut jobs. Insane. You know, and here we are. We're all insane.
Bloody madhouse.
You know, and it eventually, the whole planet's going to become an asylum, you know.
Look here.
So thank you
No, we won't.
so much. The speakers, Tony is just fantastic. He's really come into his own, and I couldn't be more prouder of him. Elena, you brought the heat. You've always brought the heat, but last night that shut everybody up, and it should. Jean-Charles, I don't know what to say. Magnifique. Oh. I've been asked to talk about starships, and I want to just add a couple things, pieces of information that I have. Jean-Charles, a lot of the weapons that you used on Mars or on your missions with the Solar Warden were never given to the Dark Space Force. There were things put in place to make sure they never had it. And when the Alliance members came down to Earth and they started helping us clean out the dumps, they were given specific weapons and training. And then when the missions were over, they removed those weapons from the hands of our archives. And the deeper they went, the Alliance forces, I'm referring to the extraterrestrials, would go first because they could adapt to the pressures. And then they would use levitation devices to bring the bodies and things back to the surface where our teams were ready to take them to the surface or to destroy the bodies or whatever they were going to do with them. So there was a lot of things going on, and there's still some things going on. And I've been made aware that one of the last dumb areas in Australia is being cleaned out as we speak, and that's under Brisbane.
Where I am.
Okay. Yeah, it's under Brisbane. So if we have any folks here from Brisbane, I did meet somebody. So Australia, you're almost done. All right. You're going to get your country back.
There you go, people. Those of us in Australia, you've heard it from the man himself. We get our country back.
The amazing Mr. Adair is in the house. I have a slide presentation, and my guys from the Zenite constellation, Andromeda, they're fifth density, and it is really hard to find slides or anything that are exactly what it is. A lot of the things that are in 5D, I could not even see because my mind, my consciousness had no idea what it was looking at. And therefore it's either gray or dark gray, almost to black. And the time that I have spent with them, now Morina's ship is one thing because I've spent a lot of time there, but on their mothership, I didn't spend a lot of time there. I just had this one brief time, and it took literally 45 days, I'm told, because when you're in space, you kind of lose time. You have no idea. There is no clock, there is no watch.
It's true.
And I started to see some things, but for the most point, for most of the time that I was there, Morina would take me by the arm and he would guide me around so I wouldn't fall off a bridge, trip into a creek or something that I had no idea was there. And you know, I felt like a toddler, but it was, you know, in hindsight, it was absolutely necessary. So talking about starships, I guess we just do this. My right is here. Yeah. Their ships are spherical.
Yeah.
Now they have scout craft and they're of all different sizes and shapes, but their host ship, which many of us call motherships, are spherical. And they find that that's the perfect shape for their environment, which is predominantly 5D. Now they do drop down into lower dimensions. They have that ability. And what's really interesting is, and you have to understand this, and I've talked to JP, and JP, I don't know if you're here, if you're in the room listening, I'm extremely proud of you. Well done. You know, well done.
Well done, JP.
You did great.
The man, mate.
They can come in and they can create a space here in our dimension, third dimension. Let's say it's 100 meters. And yet on the inside, it's a mothership. It's a mothership. Okay. Now it's very difficult to comprehend because we just simply don't understand that. And that's because their ships are built in a completely different way and in a completely different dimension. And the higher you go in dimension, the more expansive everything is. So when they come down, they can literally decide how much space they're going to take in 3D. Their motherships, they're at least 800 miles in diameter. They have multiple levels. Each level has a park area inside that's approximately in our in our mathematics is approximately 20 miles wide, and they have their housing all around the park. In the park are animals. Nothing. They have things that would be similar to squirrels, but I can't tell you the colors because we don't have those colors in our realm. They're in a dimensional frequency of 225. We're 72. Okay, so you can just imagine what it's like. The children levitate. Okay, when they move, they glide literally, and when they choose to sit down, they do. A lot of times they will just hover, and they're adorable. They're absolutely adorable. They're all telepathic, so unless they communicate with you directly, you don't hear anything that they're saying. A lot of smiles. I have shared a story in the past that I play a lot of contemporary jazz in the car and in the house, but especially when I'm in the car. And they were intrigued by the music and the depth of the music. So I'm like, okay, so I made a CD for them of some of my faves. And I have presented that to Mornay, and they have the technology to pull the information off of anything. And they've asked for several CDs, so they now have several CDs. But what's really interesting is that the children really like the music. They like the depth, they like the beat. Now, they don't want anything that has song lyrics. They don't want any singing, they just want the music. And when I asked them, they said, well, because that's the energy of the writer of the music. That is the energy of the musicians. That tells us who they are, because it's their frequency in the music, the way they play it.
That's right.
And that's all. And that's important when we get to the end here. Okay, it's about frequency. Everything's about frequency. When they travel in these starships, they have everything. They are complete worlds.
Self-sufficient.
Okay, everything they have. They have the orchards. They have everything inside. They have the ability to build ships from scratch on these starships. And none of their ships are built on the ground. They're all built in space. So they're not built to actually touch down. Wherever they go, they hover. And JP told you about that with the Nordics today. All the ships were hovering. That means they're built off world. Okay, that's important to remember as we get closer and closer to contact.
Really?
Because I'm third density, in order to be on board with them, they created a belt for me. And this belt creates a third dimensional atmosphere around me. So the minute I come up, okay, when they come, they hover, they send a blue beam of light down, I get in and I walk right into it. It disassembles me and boom, like that, seconds. And then I'm on board. And this container that you see, this energy field is 3D, and they will reach in and put the belt on me. And as long as I wear the belt, I can be in their space. And this belt takes elements of their atmosphere and convert it so that my body can exist there. It even changes the gravity inside my field as long as I wear the belt. It's remarkable technology. And I even asked, I said, well, if I was wearing this belt and I went underwater, would I drown? He said, no, but we're not giving it to you. I'd have that in manufacturing so quick, right? But it's awesome, and I can actually touch. I can't go outside of the frequency of the belt, but they can easily reach in as well. And you know, when I'm with them and I'm wearing this belt, I have to tell you, I've never ever felt more safe.
Wow.
And I can't even explain it to you what it's like. The inside of their ships are very plain, very simple. But what's interesting is that, and other contactees would know this. Elena, I'm sure, knows this. When you're walking down the hallway, everything's lit up.
Yeah.
But you do not know where the light's coming from.
Everywhere.
You just don't know. And what's interesting is that I've heard people, special forces people, talk about when they're exploring some of the extraterrestrial facilities that they've uncovered under the ice. They have walked into rooms that are miles long, and the minute they walk into it, the walls just light up.
Yep.
And these things have been there for tens of thousands or millions of years, and they still operate. They don't build obsolescence up there. They're not Fords. Okay. They don't build anything that's obsolescent. Everything is built to be forever. It's really remarkable. Yeah. And of course, technology changes, but their throwaway is future for us, it seems like. Now, what's also interesting about the walls is that at any time, if there's a telepathic message, let's say I'm walking down the hall with Mornay and he gets a message from his crew, that's something, all he does is walk to the wall, and any part of the wall, touches the wall, and monitors holographically appear everywhere. And he can look for himself at the information that they're seeing inside the cabin, the control cabin. And then he will, telepathically give them instructions of what to do. And then he'll look at me and say, let's go. So, I mean, it's
fascinating.
Like Dani had said, the ship's alive. Yeah. It's part of the crew, and the crew is part of it. And we'll get to that in a minute. Let me go back one more thing. I can't go back. Okay. Okay. Because of the nature of the ship and how they're built, Mornay's ship, when it comes in, is roughly 30 to 35 meters. That's the space they choose to take inside our third density. Inside, it's enormous. It has hangars, cargo areas, sleeping quarters. It has medical quarters. And what's really interesting is that it has 7 levels. All right. And you're looking at the outside of this and you're saying, well, it's pretty small, but when you get inside, it's just like, oh my God, it's enormous. So it's very deceiving in that way. What's really interesting is that the ship has the ability to change its size on the inside to make it much larger or much smaller. It can even add decking, floors inside the craft. All they do is ask it to do it. And it happens. It's extraordinary. It's almost like a video game, but it's not. And they do intensively use holographic technology. The cargo areas are remarkable. Now, here's how they build their ships. All their ships are built in space. And what they do is they grow the frame of the ship. It's organic. It is some kind of an alloy that is organic, that has the ability to transform its own shape. Okay? It holds consciousness. Some of it is that of the crew. Some of that is source, and some of that is AI. Right? Now, the AI specifically will only manage certain programs of the operation of the ship. They don't give it full operation, because if something happens to the AI, then they don't know what to do. So it only has limited ability. But what it's really, really good at is that navigation, the navigation of systems. So they grow these ships, and what they'll do is they'll take it in pieces. And what's interesting is that they have a basic standard size that they grow the components, the structure of the ship. And what they'll do is they'll overlay it. They will hit it with some kind of a sound frequency, and this expedites the merging of the pieces into one solid piece. Okay, it'll just come in and lay on top, and they'll hit it with this frequency, and now it is one solid piece, virtually indestructible. And they will do the same thing with other components and pieces. Let me go to the next slide. Okay. And then what they'll do is they will add one or two different levels, I think. And what they will do at that point is, okay, one or two levels. And then what happens after that is that they grow the outside, the shell of the ship. Now, the shell of the ship is made of the same component, this specific organic living alloy, but they add other things to it, other components that we would consider crystalline structure, because the outside of the ship is not only alive, it can not only change its shape, but it also can repair itself. Now, I know that we have some of that kind of technology on Solar Warden. And I think some of the Earth forces even have something like that. But they're on a completely different level. And literally the ship can change its shape, and it can also heal its skin as it's in flight. It doesn't have to park somewhere and wait. The ship is doing this itself as they're moving. It can also change the texture of the outside of the craft as well. Let's say they're going through a specific portal where there's very heavy gravity. The outside of the ship will strengthen itself based on the information it's giving. In other words, it will thicken itself in order to withstand the gravitational fields. And then once they're through that and there's no further concern, it will go back to a very thin sheath. I'm having a hard time describing this because there's nothing like it here. And in this dimension, there's just nothing like it. And there are things that I've seen that I can't even explain to you because there aren't any words for it. So once the ship is built and it has a couple of levels on the inside, what happens is, and again, the whole time this is happening, it's floating. All right. It never touches the ground or any surface. There is a platform underneath the ship, and the crew, one at a time, will go stand on this platform. This platform will then rise up to the bottom of the ship. The crew members will put their hands on the ship itself, okay? And what happens is that this frequency goes through their bodies into the ship, through them. And what this does is this records their DNA, their frequency, their consciousness, everything that is unique to them, their song, their frequency, into the craft. And they will do this for all the crew members. And if you are not a crew member, you will never, ever get inside any of these ships. It will not happen.
Indeed.
And then let's say a crew member dies, they don't remove that member because he is a part of the ship. What they do is they'll add another crew member if necessary, and another crew member, and another crew member. So they are always part of the ship, okay, the past, because of their frequency, their memory, who they were.
Wow.
They always take the crew members with them, or at least their frequency, no matter what.
Wow. Beautiful information. Thank you.
And this is such a bad picture, but this is what the suit, the energy field of the suit sort of looks like. It was the only thing that I could even come close to. And so let's just move on from that. The bedding quarters are very simple, very plain. In my entire experience with them, with Mornay and his crew, I've never seen any of them take naps. So I just know that this exists, these bedding quarters. And it could be that these are used for other passengers, other contacts that they make, whether it's fourth density or fifth. I know that they spend a great deal of time on rescue missions where stars are destabilizing, and they will go and they will assist other civilizations or colonies and remove them from the danger and take them someplace else.
relocation?
Holographic camera.
I recognize that particular med
I've
bed.
talked about this for years. We call them med beds. Every ship they build has one. And for those of you who aren't familiar with my work, how this works is they will put you on this table. They will take a holographic picture of you. Now, this camera has the ability to take a picture of us holographically or them holographically all the way back to conception. And then what they will do is they have this monitor. They can go through this camera and through the monitor, and they can choose when your body was the absolute healthiest. And they can program that in. And then the holographic camera will then holographically project into the body
Overlay.
a brand new liver, brand new kidneys,
Yes.
brand new heart, grow limbs.
Yes,
And it's done so fast you can't even imagine.
absolutely.
And then they just get up off the table and they go right back to
Right
work.
back to work.
It's remarkable. Now, this technology has been around. The fact that, Jean-Charles and Tony have talked about this technology, and so have others talked about this, that, our space fleet has it, and even the dark fleet has it.
Yes.
They have some of this technology, but it's been withheld from us for a very long time. And isn't it interesting that we could go and build colonies on other planets and we can't take care of our problems right here on Earth? It's because they don't want to.
Powers that be don't.
They simply don't want to. So we have to do it. We have to fix this.
That's right.
Okay? And the first thing we have to do is fire all the decision makers because they're idiots.
Yeah.
If you've seen a Andromedan ship traveling through space, this is what it would look like. It would look like a very large teardrop or a medium size or a small teardrop traveling through space. And that's the field around themselves. Science vessels. This is actually the only slide that's really pretty good. They have science vessels where they do planetary archaeology. And not only in fifth density, but fourth density as well. They spend a lot of time in fourth.
That's what I want to do.
Because they want to understand about civilizations and about consciousness. They don't know everything. None of them do. Because if they did, there would be no need for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th density. So they're learning just as we are. I can't remember who it was. One of my esteemed colleagues here said, well, they're trying to figure out who they are.
Yes.
Who they themselves are and who we are. And I have to tell you, they're just so impressive. Physically, they're perfect. Physically, they're all beautiful, gorgeous, or handsome. And I told this story about one of the first few times I met Mornay and I was in his presence. He's like 7.5 feet tall, 450 pounds, and he's just boom.
Wow.
Rock solid. And I was so intimidated.
It's like my contact. Wow.
I mean, it's just like, oh my God, this guy's a god,
Huge.
They don't act like it, but they look like a god. It's amazing. But their science vessels go all over. They do all kinds of work. They record, they heal. They are working with other spacefaring nations to terraform in their own density. Sometimes in fourth, they will assist or consult other planets. I mean, there is so much going on that we don't realize. It's even greater than the science fiction movies we see.
It is.
Okay, there's so much more to it, and there's so much more to ourselves as well.
Yeah.
You have to understand that. Every one of you that has soul, you have to understand this. If you get nothing else out of this, please understand this. Your soul came from Source.
Indeed.
And Source is above all of it.
Yeah.
You understand? You are not winning ninnies. You are part of all that is. You will always be part of all that is. They know it. The others know it. The dark side knows it. We're the only ones who haven't gotten hold of that information and know it. We know it now.
We're regaining it now.
I love this part. When they stop somewhere and they decide to take a sabbatical, or they are going to share the space, what they'll do is they'll begin to open up their shield. This is part of the opening up of the shield of their craft. This is, of course, a mothership, starship. And the hull just kind of opens up. Okay. And when they close their shield and they get ready, this is the best representation I could have. It's not exact in any way, shape, or form. But when they get ready to, and they close their shields and they're getting ready to teleport somewhere, this is what it looks like. The ship glows and then it's gone. Yeah. Now, what's interesting is their navigation system, and it doesn't matter which dimension we're in, they have mappings of everything.
Wow.
And the contact between their race and all other spacefaring races is phenomenal. If there's any changes in the galaxy, that information is shared with everyone. Okay, it's put out there. So it's not like, well, we didn't get the memo. The rally map wasn't accurate. We hit a sun. It's not like that at all. Okay, they're all on board together. Everybody shares information. It's the law of consistency, which is what all benevolent races share, is the law of consistency. Whatever they know, they share upline. Yeah. So everybody has it. Okay, including their own people, especially their own people, even their young people. Even if they can't comprehend it, the information is shared with them nonetheless. Listen to the music for a minute.
Okay, now here, unfortunately, the recording of this frequency that Alex has asked the audience to listen to, unfortunately, we cannot hear on our end. So unfortunately, it'll be a minute before talking resumes. So just give it a couple of seconds, but he will actually give us insightful information as to why he's asking us to listen to the frequency after this is finished. And I'm sure you're going to love it. So yeah, just stay with it for a few more seconds and I'm sure Alex will be back. Yeah.
We got it. Thank you.
Here we go.
That's what their ship sounds like. Yes. It's a song. Okay. Sorry, the ship is a song. It also, even Mornay's ship sounds like this. They don't hear it anymore because they're so used to it. But I always hear it when I go on there. There's also a smell. It's a floral smell that, and I've tried. I cannot identify it at all. Now, this piece of music is by Stephen Roach, and it's the closest thing, because I love music, that I can find that resembles the sound of their ship. It's as if the ship is taking a breath in, then out, and then the is like a heartbeat. It's exactly what it reminds me of. And here you can see that the shield is open and there are ships moving about all over the place. And if you look, it's hard to see because I had no way to blow this up. You can see it's like a scale of frequency of music. And that's because everything is frequency, everything is music. And it doesn't matter the dimension, that's just the way it is. Everything is sound and frequency. It's as if God, the source, is a DJ and we are all the songs that it's playing. Okay, we all have a different song. We all have a different frequency. Even the A's, every single one is unique in its own way. And it's just extraordinary and they will dance up and around. Now, this picture was taken because Kodak, back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, would release a camera that had no battery in it. There was no flash. Okay, it was just camera, click, and you get the exposure. It was specifically for daylight use only. They don't make those anymore because things that are electric won't work in fifth density unless it's their tech. So, and here's the shield is open. You can see it looks like Saturn, and the ships are all dancing around. Now, I was in Morina's ship taking this picture when this was going on, and these are other ships. This is when we were approaching the mothership for my stay, and I was there approximately 90 days. So that's Andromedan ships. That's Andromedan ships. That's Andromedan technology. We are. Oh, okay. Sorry. So we have technology here that is hundreds, if not 1,000 years ahead of what we know commercially. And I simply do not understand the thinking about not sharing it with humanity. I simply don't. I simply cannot understand the thinking of Agenda 21, Agenda 30, or the UN just passing their latest resolution to eliminate 95% of the population because we're of no use to them. We definitely have this all wrong. They're the ones that need to go, not us. Okay. This kind of thinking is just insanity, simply insanity.
No room for it on where we're going. No room.
The biggest journey we're all on is to discover who we are. Each one of us has our own path. Each one of us has our own dreams. Each one of us has our own song. And each one of us has our own destiny. You may not know what it is. You may not know the reasons why. That doesn't necessarily matter. What does matter is that you find a way to hear your own frequency because you have one. And when you meet people that you know, or that you feel like you've met them and you've known them forever, those are people who have a very similar frequency, but it is not the exact frequency. Okay, it's not always about karma. Some of it is, but it's not always about karma. And I just want to say it's been an honor and privilege to stand before you once again. And I think I'm done. Thank you, Dani.
Got to say, thank you, blessings, love, and absolute immense gratitude to you, Mr. Alex Collier, for all your service over all the decades that you've been out here delivering, disclosing, taking names, kicking ass, and seriously just bringing the reign of truth about our connections to the stars, our star families, and all the beautiful technologies that come. You have been a wonder, an awe-inspiring inspiration to myself to come out and speak from my heart, from my truth, of my story, my journey, my experiences. And I take my hat off to you, sir, and give you absolute utmost gratitude and respect. Thank you for all you have done for us. And I hope you sincerely enjoy your retirement if you get to see this video. Much love to you, sir. Now, moving on quickly, I'd also like to play for everyone this next beautiful video that was put together on, I think it was the 27th or the 28th at the conference. I'm not sure exactly which date it was. Sorry, I do apologize. I think it was the 27th at the Denver G.S.I.C conference, where 1,000 witnesses came out and joined Dani, Henderson, Elena, Danaan, many others, including Mr. Alex Collier for a Skywatch event, and where, as mentioned earlier, was promised that there would be a flyover by the Earth Alliance and in a TR3B and the Galactic Federation of Worlds. And indeed, as promised, they delivered. So I'm going to play for everyone now for your personal pleasure, for your personal peace of mind, knowing that what you are about to witness is history in the making and that there is no other conference on the planet or anyone else such as Elena who is able to ask for and deliver a flyover. I hope you enjoy.
Are those more birds?
Now it's a fleet flying together, guys. Do you see where we're pointing the laser? There's a fleet flying together. They look like birds. They're not birds.
And then there's that one. Oh, what is that? It's a bird. Oh, wow. Oh, that's one.
You are one. TR3B. Flying Triangle, Earth Alliance ship. Thank you for your service, Space
Oh,
Force.
that's wild.
A triangle just passed by. Triangle ship. Have you seen it? And it disappeared now.
No, well, I still see it. It's turning. Oh.
There they are. Galactic Federation of World ships flying in and out of formation.
Where are they?
You can hear Mr. Dr. Salla, Dr. Michael Salla, with his laser pointer, showing you what he's doing. 1,000 witnesses, everyone. I dare anyone to try and convince those 1,000 witnesses otherwise. I dare. You won't. That is the real deal. Anyone that has not seen this footage, I am humbled, honored, and privileged to thank Dani has allowed me to present this on my channel. Thank you, Dani. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Alex.
Oh my God, that's not birds. You see them on the right? They're flashing their lights. That's a real show.
Indeed, Elena, that's a real show.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
And there you have it, everyone. I hope sincerely within your hearts that you take that video footage into your being and know full well that that was the real deal and that there is no one else, nowhere else on the planet where you can see a flyover such as that and have someone promise and deliver such an awesome deliverance to an audience of 1,000 people. Thank you, Elena, for asking Thorhan for delivering this beautiful flyover for all of us, and thank him also for asking the Alliance to join them in flight. That was just absolutely beautiful. It reassures me personally as one that I know I'm not crazy from my research and my time learning about our past, learning about the present and knowing where we're going in the future. my personal experiences, my journey, it makes it all worthwhile when you see video like that, knowing that that is the real deal. They are ships. They are. Yeah, there's only one other person I can honestly say on the planet that has video that is close to ships like that of the Galactic Federation being seen on footage. And that would have to be by the name of Mr. Peter Maxwell Slattery, here in Australia, of Jaya Sanctuary, friends of James Gilliland and Ulukai Murray, and James being the owner of the ranch E-SETI at Trout Lake, Washington, D.C., at the base of Mount Adams, which is a massive cross-intersecting ley line, also hotspot for ships coming and going from the mountain, Bigfoot sightings, etc. Peter has been quoted by a top British intelligence airframe, I can't remember the name of the gentleman now. He was someone who was actually very familiar with all types and makes of airframe, fuselage, flight design of all planes around the world. And he's witnessed and looked at all of Peter's footage and video and photographs of these ships that appear over not only his sanctuary, G.S.I.C Sanctuary in Victoria, Mount Buffalo, but also at his house in suburbia. Okay, and these have all been proven to be within the top 1% in the world of photographic proof that is absolutely 100% real. Okay, and that is the only other person I can honestly say that has video footage that is up there with Elena and Dani's just now. But in formation like that, Peter only has single ships flying over, but they are nonetheless spherical, as Alex has quoted. 100%. Now, just touching base quickly also on what Alex had quoted to the audience, being, about music and frequency, and it's like the DJ, and music and how they love to dance. And for myself, I identified with that straight away when I first heard it, because being an ex-DJ myself and playing music, you get to be the conductor of an orchestra of frequency and sound and resonance that takes you on a one-way trip to a cerebral cortex naturally. Okay, I've sat there and created such sounds, blending them together using the EQs and the volume levels and crossfader, so that you can get the perfect blend of music so that it sounds like a glove fitting over a hand perfectly. The music blending with you and your resonance frequency within your heart. I've actually wept tears of happiness from creating such beautiful sounds that they overwhelmingly emotionally moved me. So I understand exactly what Alex is talking about there, because the frequency, it's all about the frequency and what is within the soul, the writer of the actual music itself, the production, the piece. Okay, it's come from the heart, the soul of that actual music maker, the conductor, the orchestrator of that music. It's come from their soul, come from their frequency, and that's how others identify with it. And God, it's beautiful to know that others can explain it in such a way that I, as well as you too, can all identify beautifully within ourselves. A couple of other things I just wanted to quickly touch base on as well about the spherical ships, and the factor that we've, as Elena has quoted in the past about the particular movie Independence Day Resurgence, about the particular mother alien that was in that, or ET that was in that, has actually been named as the Nagumuk, who have joined the Galactic Federation of Worlds recently. There is also another portion of disclosure that is within that movie that is truth in plain sight, and I'm going to tell you all right now. The spherical ships, as to which Alex was referring to, that are part of their fleet or armada, the Galactic Federation of Worlds, if you look at the movie Independence Day Resurgence, the good guys who turned up were in a spherical ship. And it had a big window all the way across the front that was blue. Now, I do believe that we were seeing, to a degree, truth in plain sight. As much as there was a big window across the front of it, and Alex had a photo of a ship with a window across the front of it, I do believe the ships are more so spherical, like a planetary object, and all the capabilities that they have, that he said that they have, I believe are true, 100% real, absolutely within my heart. That they're self-repairing, self-healing, self-generating, able to expand. If you look upon the actual information that Alex was talking about, how they're 3D on the outside but 5D on the inside, and they're much larger, all you have to do is look back in your mind to the early TV series of the 1970s and 80s that I grew up with, Doctor Who, the TARDIS police box from Great Britain. I'm not kidding. Perfect example of three-dimensionality on the outside, but you go inside, the space is much larger. They gave us the truth in plain sight in the 1970s and 80s. I'm not kidding. That is a perfect reference point for everyone to look back upon so that you can reconcile in your mind what Alex is talking about in reference to a ship being, say, 35 meters in width on the outside, but 5D on the inside, being so much larger in space, and is able to expand and grow decks and all sorts of amazing wonders. So try to look back in your minds to Doctor Who's TARDIS, and you'll get your answers right there, because that is a perfect reference example of 3D outside to 5D inside. Now, another quick thing I'd like to share with everyone as well, before I tie this up today and play for you one song at the end of this, I'm going to quickly reference for you all now what I believe is an artist's interpretation of what looks like the TR3B for all of you to enjoy now for your perusal. So here it is. This is what I believe is an artist's interpretation of the TR3B, but then again, I could be wrong. Do not quote me. This might be an actual photograph of it, because I actually pulled this from the net where this was photographed over ice and snow in Antarctica. I've just cropped and brought the edges in so that, got rid of my time and my notifications up the top of the screen and my little buttons at the bottom of the screen. But nonetheless, this was taken off, the actual internet, but it might be just an AI generated image. So do not quote me as being this real. I'm just giving you this photo as an example as to what the TR3B looks like, the one that flew over in the flyover of G.S.I.C conference, Denver, Colorado, 2024. Okay. I would also like to just quickly show you this photo as well by Thorhana Redian. The promise kept. And as you can see here in the photo, there is 5 ships there in formation. On September 27th, 2024, High Commander Thorhana Redian kept his promise to Elena Danaan and displayed a fleet of Federation scout ships to 1,000 witnesses at the G.S.I.C 2024 conference in Colorado. Okay? That is, for me, like, we have a beautiful future to look forward to, everyone. It's just a matter of how much you're willing to open your hearts and your minds and to the knowledge of information that is at hand and by those that are actually presenting it. Some have their problems. I have heard others talking smack, etc., and I come to the aid of these beautiful women straight away and actually have represented and presented in a way that would actually put them in highlight respectfully, because people do not like. One thing I've noticed in life is that when people are jealous, they like to actually tear other people down in order to make themselves feel good about themselves. And there's been a lot of that in the community lately, and a lot of division and a lot of smack talk. And unfortunately, those that have been doing that, really at the end of the day, I do say, shame on you, because really at the end of the day, we are much more better off together and unified if you saw past your own egos and got over yourselves. But unfortunately, those that cannot do this, I will not mention names, but if I have to, I will. But I will not mention names at the moment, but they know who they are. I don't think at any point from here on in, after what was delivered and promised at that conference by these 2 beautiful, lovely ladies, Dani Henderson and Miss Elena Danaan, I do not think there is one other person on the planet that can sit there and actually make claim to what they can do and promise and deliver, let alone talk smack about them anymore. Enough of it. There has been too much division. It's time that we all unified, and it's time that people start to see past themselves and see that we are greater as a whole and unified together to move forward into our future. Okay, because there's no other way to do this. Excuse me, I have a small frog in my throat. But I want everyone to know that no matter if we are within indecision of each other at the moment, at the end of the day, we are all on a very similar path, and we are all heading to a very much the same direction and destination point. And I implore and ask everyone now to see within yourselves, look within, because the last journey is within before we move forward. Look within yourselves, see the truth, and see that there is no enemies, there are no sides, there is no above, there is no below each other. We are all equal on this playing field, and that we are all only going to get there together, and that we as a group are stronger than the deep state or any of the dark elements can ever pull together themselves. We as a co-collective, using love at the very core of who we are and what we do and how we speak, act, and treat one another, is how we're going to move forward together, everyone. I can't say that enough. I've said it before and I will say it again. Okay? But everyone, I'm going to wrap this up today. I'm going to be saying again, thank you to Miss Dani Henderson, Alex Collier, the Mr. Jedi Knight of Disclosure himself, the gentleman and true warrior, and Miss Elena Danaan, our beautiful sister and emissary to our planet, and working closely with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. I thank you all for being these true warriors and superheroes that you are, because we are, to a degree. We are superheroes in our own right, because we are the writers of our own destiny. We are taking up the mantle of our own journey and path, and actually making sure that we get to our future ourselves, because no one is going to do it for us. We have to do it ourselves within. But in order to get to the future, we have to do it together. And I want to say thank you to all of those that have been a part of this, all of this with me on my journey, my audience, you. But without you, this channel, me doing this and bringing these beautiful videos, these beautiful souls, and this beautiful information to all of you is not possible without all of you. So I thank you for being a part of this with me and helping me grow as a person, as a channel, as a human being, and in service to you as well, so that you too can grow spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, in every way possible, so that we can move forward to this future together. Because, as I said, there's no other way forward. We are the superheroes of our own journey. And in saying that, I'm going to play for you now, my beautiful audience, the last song for this show, Not All Superheroes Wear Capes, by Mr. Alex Morph. Oh, how's that? They like to play ads all of a sudden, even though I had it lined up. How's that? Love to do that. They love to mess with you at the last second. I do apologize, everyone. Enjoy. Close your eyes. Enjoy the frequency. That's from Salla. Beautiful. I sincerely hope that brought some form of peace, semblance, love to your hearts. Thank you for joining me today for this very special presentation. Thanks to Miss Dani Henderson, Mr. Alex Collier, and Elena Danaan for the final speech of Alex's at G.S.I.C Conference 2024 and the Flyover by the Earth Alliance and the Galactic Federation of Worlds. I bid you all adieu and thank you and say I love you all for joining me. See you all next time. Take care till then, everyone.